Hello, welcome to a new entry in the Affiliate Marketing webinar series hosted by Semrush. My name is Ilya with Semrush Affiliate Marketing team, and I'm joined here today by Dan, Shure, SEO consultant and podcast host at Evolving SEO. Hello, Dan. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we begin our webinar, which is dedicated to personal brands and their effects on affiliate sales, be sure to keep in mind that anytime you want to ask any questions from Dan, you can post them straight away in chat. We will be recording all the questions and asking them at the very end of the event. So be sure to stick around and put your questions forward. But before further ado, Dan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me. Let's jump right into today's topic. So I'm going to set up with a little intro here first. We're talking about improving your affiliate sales with a personal brand. And just a quick little bit about myself. So I'm mainly an SEO consultant. I've been doing that for about 10 years. Also a podcast host. I've got my podcast here, Experts in the Wire. I've been doing that for 2.5 years. But I'm also an accidental affiliate. And there's a little stat from BRush right there. And it might not look like a lot. I've got a lot of other platforms here. But what I mean by accidental affiliate is I never really planned on being an affiliate marketer or an affiliate selling products and things like that. But it just sort of happened as a byproduct of the fact that I've been growing my personal brand and my sort of audience over the last 7 or 8 years. And that's just happened as a result. And so that's what I want to talk a lot about today is my direct experience in how I sort of grew my audience, got the awareness, the attention, and make some affiliate sales. Now, I should say affiliate sales are maybe 5% of my income. So if this is something that I really wanted to turn the dial up on and turn way up, I know I could do a lot better. But this is something that I'm just sort of been doing on the side with some success. So first, I have to caveat and give you my sort of opinion on the term personal brand or influencer or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a fan of the term, but I use it because I think we all know what we sort of mean by that. But I actually want to break down what I mean by personal brand or influencer into a few distinct concrete things. Because when I'm talking through today's presentation, I want you to be aware of the tangible results that should happen from growing a personal brand. Number one is by having a personal brand, you get awareness and attention. I don't know if you all know, but in order to train a dog, you need its attention first. That's why I put the picture of the dog here. So in order to sell to somebody, you need their attention first. In order to send them your affiliate link, you need their attention and awareness first. And second, what a personal brand does, it helps develop trust. And this helps reduce the friction in selling. I can share a little bit later on why I have a 100% conversion rate in some of the ways that I promote affiliate links. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. This screenshot here is a screenshot of all of the pitches for people wanting to be on my podcast that I've received in the last couple months. As you can see, I get, 3, 4, 5 a week or so. And the reason this screenshot to me conveys trust is because I don't accept barely any of these pitches. I've accepted maybe 1 or 2 pitches in the whole 2.5 years I've been podcasting. And the reason this is important is because my audience then knows that they can trust me. They know I'm not just going to put somebody on my podcast that just because they pitched me or because they're a big name or because they're going to offer me something. They know that I'm protecting them from what could be a low quality show, an interview that's not very interesting or helpful or educational. And by building that trust, that allows me to promote some affiliate products in my podcast on air and in the show notes. And by building that trust, they know I'm only going to share products that I truly believe in. And then finally, I want to quote one of the best marketers of all time here, Seth Godin. He's got this great quote. He says, "Most of all, I'd measure this: will they miss you when you're gone?" And I love that quote because it's a bit sort of in the clouds and fluffy, but in a tangible sense, in a very practical sense, this means you have brand recall. And that's the end result, I think, of having a personal brand or being an influencer, is that people remember you. People think of you when you're not around. And that is the definite sign that you have built that awareness and trust. So I'm going to break down how I've grown a personal brand and how that has led to affiliate sales in a bunch of different categories and platforms. And I want to start with blogging. I want to take you back to 2012 when I wrote this post talking about the best rank tracking software for SEO. And you can see this is a screenshot from today. It still ranks #1 in Google for a lot of different terms, and it drives affiliate sales for me. And you might be wondering, what does a personal brand have to do with this? Well, this post actually began by me interacting in the community. I don't know if anybody on the line remembers Google Plus that just finally closed down after a slow, painful death. But it was actually, in fact, an active community for a few years. And during that time, I grew a bit of an audience on Google Plus. And this post that I'm sharing that attracts affiliate sales started as a Google Plus discussion. I posted a post. I reached out to the community. I asked them what they thought their favorite rank tracking software was. And because I had a bit of a following and community on there and used the certain hacks you could use during that time on Google Plus, people responded. And that's how I built the post. The post was crowdsourced. And then I later on realized I could add an affiliate link there and make sales from that. But that post, I don't think would have happened if I had not had a bit of an audience and the ability to crowdsource the content. And then further, personal brand is not only a way to get attention, but it's a way to reinforce trust. And so on all of my blog posts, very purposefully on the right hand in the sidebar, I have this author box. And I'm doing this, I'm showing my screenshot and I'm telling people that I'm the author so they can trust me. And I'm doing this so when they land on that affiliate post, they say, oh, this guy Dan wrote this and he looks trustworthy. He's an SEO consultant. He sells services. So his opinion must have some validity to it. Finally, though, I want to tie in this idea of building your personal brand. And what that really means, again, is being an expert or an authority or having an audience. This is actually going to tie very strongly back into SEO. And it has been for a little while, but I think this is only going to increase. This screenshot here is from the Google Search Quality Raters guidelines. And right in there, they're talking about the expertise of the creator of the main content. That's what MC stands for. What Google is saying here in plain English is the more authoritative you are, the more of an expert you are, the more well-known you are around certain topics, the better they might rank you. And yeah, you heard that right. So this is Google's move, potentially, maybe not away from links as a ranking factor, but definitely towards this idea of the authority and expertise of an author. So if you connect the dots, if you're building your quote unquote personal brand around the web, you've got your profiles, those profiles grow followers and you have engagement, that's going to send signals back to any content that you write, whether it's on your website or a guest post, and that could help rank your content better. So by building a personal brand, you could actually rank your content better and make more sales. Second, I want to talk a little bit more about these web profiles. This is quite key to all of the channels and platforms that you're using. And I'm going to show my Twitter profile here first. I'm going to break this down a little bit. We're going to spend like a minute or two in this profile. Everything here is done intentionally, starting with the bio on the left. So the first thing I'm doing here is I want to tell people very concretely and clearly exactly who I am and what I do. And I also want to give people this social proof and the proof of expertise. You know, because when somebody lands on a profile and they don't know who you are or who I am, they don't know if they should trust you, why they should follow you, why they should listen to you. So it took me a few years to get over this because it does come across sometimes it can come across as being bragging or being a little egotistical or, you know, whatever it may be. But to me, I want to just tell people very clearly who I am and what I'm about in that bio. So that's why I put examples of companies they may have heard of that I work with. And I want to put the numbers of the podcast downloads because more people are doing podcasts every day now. I mean, I think there's, you know, easily 500,000 podcasts in the iTunes store. And so anybody now can put podcaster. It's like putting entrepreneur in your bio, right? It's like that doesn't mean anything. But because I put how many downloads we've received total, that gives some credibility to it. And also talk a little bit personally that, I'm a musician and a speaker. And so that's very intentional. That bio is done to tell my story. And you should think about doing that in all the profiles that you set up. But then the pinned tweet is very important as well. And again, this all ties back to people being aware of me, following me, liking me, trusting me, and eventually using my affiliate links. I very purposefully put the pinned tweet there showing that I'm speaking at Social Media Marketing World, because that, again, is social proof. It's saying this guy is, doing things out there in the real world. It's a well-known conference. And I think it's a very quick way to give people an understanding of who you are and what you're about, and it gives you a little bit of credibility. So when you're beginning, if you don't have these things yet, you can find ways to do this. You don't have to have a podcast with 385,000 downloads. It's just a matter of finding the thing that is you're putting your best foot forward that you have at that time and putting that into your bio. And then here's my LinkedIn bio. So I show these together because having a uniform look and feel and consistency across all of your profiles is very important. When you're a personal brand, you're thinking of yourself like a brand, right? Coca-Cola is not going to have different logos everywhere. They want to unify that and have a consistent brand voice everywhere. So that's what I'm doing here. And one thing about LinkedIn is I know that as an SEO consultant, a lot of people don't trust SEOs, or they look at them with skepticism. So that's why I also leverage my podcast host title there, because that makes me a little less, sketchy to some people that don't trust SEOs. I want to talk about Twitter. A lot of people think Twitter is not an easy place to grow an audience or to get traction, but it still is now. You just have to do it the right way. And here's some ways that I have found to have success. Number one, you should follow people whose audiences you want to be in front of, and then reply to those people, not to get their attention, but to get the attention of their audience. So let me explain concretely here. This guy, Credo, he runs The Future. It's like a brand for designers, entrepreneurs, creatives, people that are building websites, and maybe some affiliates in there as well. And I follow him to engage with him a little bit, but I follow him because I know his audience is very engaged with him, and they are going to go to the individual tweet and look at all of his replies. So when I replied to him here, as you can see, it got a lot of attention from some of my followers, but from a lot of people outside of my circles. An even bigger example of that is when I replied to Tim Ferriss here. Every single engagement was not from people that followed me. It was all Tim's fans, because they're going to click on this individual tweet like it's a piece of content itself and read through the replies and engage with his audience. So to sum up that tip, follow people that have a similar audience or whose fans you want to get in front of and engage with them, not to try to get them to follow you, but to interact with their fan base and their audience. Also, I want to talk a little bit about constructing a tweet in a way that is retweet worthy. I see so many people doing this wrong, but this is a very good format here, is when you're constructing a tweet, you want to think about, why is somebody going to retweet this, and how is that going to make them look good? I want to say that again. You want to construct a tweet so when other people retweet it, it's making them look good. And so I wrote this tweet here for other people to retweet. And the structure is really, I'm saying who it's for. It's for people interested in story and digital content. It's a must watch. Casey breaks down his vlog. I link to it. It's a format that if somebody retweets that, it makes sense. The whole thing makes sense in context to their audience when they retweet it. But to my surprise, I didn't know this was going to happen or really even think it was going to happen. Casey himself retweeted this. And I think this is why, tweeting things and tagging people and tweeting things of people that have big audiences and big followings, you're not going to get them retweeting you all of the time. But when they do, this is the result in my Twitter analytics of the amount of exposure that can get you. So think about the people whose content you can share and make them look good. Construct a tweet for them that's going to make sense for their audience, kind of like you're just working for them in a sense. And so I feel like this tweet here worked well for Casey. He saw it, he retweeted it, and it got well over 100,000 impressions. So I want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn. I think that the thing with LinkedIn, right now and for the last year or two is LinkedIn is such a no-brainer, especially if you're in a B2B environment or anything business related, but even consumer related now as well. LinkedIn is like a platform where if you just post something that's decent, you're going to get engagement. You're going to get reshares and people commenting and a lot of visibility. This is an example of a recent LinkedIn post that I made. And as you can see, it got over 4,000 views and it's gotten some comments and some likes. And I put almost no effort into this. And that's the point with LinkedIn right now, is that you can just post content, post stories, and the nature of the algorithm now is making it very easy to get exposure. Now, the one thing that I want to just put for food for thought out there for everyone listening is you see a lot of sort of LinkedIn spam where people will post like a clever story and then tag like 20 people in that to try to get them noticed. I don't recommend doing that. I think that looks spammy. It might rub the people the wrong way that you're tagging. Counter to that, I would recommend considering something like this, where I'm only tagging Rand in this because he's the content creator. And again, this is going to make him look good because I'm putting his content on a platform here. And he did like that. That's why I'm pointing the arrow to his icon there. And with LinkedIn, if somebody influential likes your post, all of their followers and their feeds are going to see it as well. And that's the beauty of LinkedIn right now. Here's my friend Gaetano. He was at Sales Hacker. You might be familiar with some of his content, but he posts stories on LinkedIn, and he's told me some of the numbers of views he's getting, and some are in the 5 figures or 6 figures in terms of impressions. And you can see thousands of likes, 247 comments. And again, all he's doing is posting insights, stories, adding value, sharing an opinion, something that might be a little controversial. And the nature of LinkedIn right now is it's just naturally getting a lot of exposure. So one of the things I'm kicking myself for right now is not putting more effort into LinkedIn, because I don't think it's going to last super long. But for anybody out there watching, if you want to grow your audience, LinkedIn is a huge channel to do that with. Now, you might be wondering, well, LinkedIn's great, but how do I sell stuff on it? I think this is where something like an email list can really tie in. This is a screenshot I took today of my email list that I've put like basically zero effort into promoting. I've mentioned it in my podcast in 3 or 4 episodes, and I've mentioned it in LinkedIn and Twitter a few times as well. And with like almost zero effort, I've got 500 subscribers. And I know I could grow that very quickly. And maybe I should actually, the second we get off this webinar, I should definitely be promoting my list in LinkedIn and be using that more. But an email list is a great soft conversion to get people from LinkedIn, as you're growing your audience there, into your list. And then, as I'm sure you all know, the email list is where you can sell to people and get them to take action on things. 5, I want to talk about YouTube. This, I want to show an example of, this is a guy, Andrew. He posts content about music. This content was posted a couple days ago. It already has 227,000 views. Granted, he has a big audience, but I want to share some stuff here about YouTube, because YouTube is one of those channels right now that is still hot in terms of being able to grow from zero, from nothing, and grow an audience. And YouTube, you can directly sell in. This guy, Andrew, he's got like a couple dozen affiliate links to Amazon and Reverb and music-related sites here in one YouTube post that has 227,000 views. You know, you do the math. Even a few clicks out of that to Amazon or to Reverb from, you know, different posts. He's posting something like 2-3 times a week. That's going to translate into a lot of long-term affiliate sales for you. I do this as well. So I do very simple screencast tutorials on my channel. I don't have a lot of subscribers. Again, I could put more effort into that and grow it more. But this one example here has gotten over 6,000 views. I have other tutorials on Semrush that have gotten over 15,000 views. And it definitely translated in at least to some activations, if not sales, from using the Semrush affiliate link in the description. Now, I want to dive into a quick little advanced hack for getting some exposure in YouTube. So, as I'm sure you all know, most YouTube views and exposure come from being a recommended video in the right sidebar. Well, how do you become a suggested video? Here's what you do. You go to videos that you already have and you look at the sources of traffic and views for your existing videos. So this list of videos here are the ones that are suggesting my video on the right-hand side. And that's how a lot of people are finding my SEMrush tutorial. Now, if you click on a lot of these, it's actually the SEMrush channel that is the one responsible for sending me a lot of views, because my videos are a natural follow-up to their videos. Now, the punchline to all of this is you should go to those videos that are sending you views already and think, what's a great follow-up to this getting started with SEMrush video? Because that's what YouTube's going to want to put next in the right-hand sidebar. And you can piggyback on that to get so many more views. So that's just a quick little advanced hack for getting some visibility in YouTube. I'm going to call out this guy, Kyle Beats, here, because like I said, I don't put a lot of effort into YouTube, but this guy does. And he actually has grown his channel to over 140,000 subscribers in only a year. And there's a few ways he's done that. And this is common to all YouTube channels. So this can apply anywhere. I'm just pulling him out as an example. But paying very close attention to titles and thumbnails is key. Using community and piggybacking. A few examples here. Some of his titles show the emotion in it, right? So like some of them are a little clickbaity, but that one on the top left, making beats with internet money, and then asterisk, insane, right? It's not just the noun, or it's not just the facts of what's in that, but he's also eliciting an emotion. And a lot of people are going to click because of an emotional reaction in YouTube. And then he's using the thumbnail to synergistically sort of call out even more what he's putting into the video. So, he's using arrows. He's putting more insight. So quickly fix a bad melody, rating my subscribers. He's putting more information about what the video is about on the thumbnail itself. And all the videos have faces and have sort of an emotional look to them. He's pointing. So the thumbnail can work a lot to get clicks. And YouTube has said thumbnails and titles are one of the best things you can do to get visibility, because clicks are going to drive views, and views are going to drive your rankings in YouTube. And then he's using community. So one of these videos, he's actually fixing subscribers' beats. And that's going to get a lot of community interaction going and sharing. He reviews his subscribers' beats. And then by piggybacking, if you look at down sort of in the middle, it says trying to make 10 beats in 1 day challenge. That's actually something a lot of other musicians and beat makers have done in YouTube. And guess what happens? Now he's going to show up as a suggested video among those other videos, because it's sort of a topic that he's piggybacking on. So that's a very quick crash course in YouTube. Let's move it along. I know we're going a few minutes over here. Brand association. This is something that you can do, like any good brand, to leverage your personal brand. And you don't want to do this in a sort of a sleazy way, or in a way that's not authentic. This has happened for me. 2 examples here. One is with Noah Kagan. So he was on my podcast. I gave him some tips for OK Dork. I can leverage his personal brand and make a connection with his brand to my brand to get more clicks, to get more attention, etc. I've also interviewed Brian Dean from Backlinko, again, leveraging his audience, the brand connection. People trust his brand. They see the association, and then they're going to trust my brand as well. Finally, a lot of this translates, like I said at the beginning, into speaking and consulting. And this is actually a platform, but it's also a result of building a personal brand, because by growing your brand, you might get asked to speak or to consult. And by doing this, here's an example of slides from a presentation I gave at Content Jam in Chicago a couple weeks ago. And I could put an affiliate link right here in the slide. And I think in a BRush is great, because they give a link that gives the users 15 days for free. So when you have a link that has an incentive for them, I feel like it's not a bad thing to put an affiliate link in here. It actually is adding value for them. But then what's cool is, and you can see Ilya wrote to me here once, he told me that we got a sale in some activity, and he was asking what translated to that. And it's because I had just given a talk where I had mentioned SEMrush and some other affiliates. And then finally, not only do you get the benefit of sharing that link when you speak, but afterwards as well. So here's my tweet sharing my slides from that presentation. It's got 20,000 impressions, 274 clicks. And then you can see I've barely done any promotion on this. I just tweeted it once, and I have some followers in SlideShare, but it's gotten over 1,600 views in less than a week in SlideShare. And of course, the affiliate link is in there, and that's other opportunity for people to click on it. And finally, if you out there, if you have any expertise to offer at all, you can go to a platform like Clarity. If you know anything from business to setting up QuickBooks to you know, how to design a logo, to SEO like myself, to how to do PR or email marketing or anything, you should list yourself in a platform like Clarity. And yeah, you can do that for some extra income for the consulting work. But this is how I get 100% conversion rate on affiliate links, is because when people sign up to do a consulting session with me and I show them how to use Semrush or other software, and then I'm like, hey, I've got this link where you can actually get 15 days free. They're like, I want the link. I'm going to use that right away. And so you can see two examples here, me emailing or messaging people my Semrush link right after consulting session, at which point they do often sign up right away and stick around to be ongoing recurring subscription customers. So I want to offer one little bonus here. That's the end of the personal branding thing, but you're all affiliate marketers or affiliate sellers out there. And I can't leave without showing you this one sort of advanced hack that you can do with Semrush. So here's an example of a search that I'm sure a lot of affiliates that would want to rank for, especially if you are selling products of any kind, you have a product review site. It doesn't have to be electronics or cameras. You can apply this to any type of tangible product people are reviewing. And I found this keyword in literally 1 minute. And this is a great keyword, a lot of opportunity. If you see the last result down there is a 21 domain authority. This guy's ranking with like basically no website authority. So it means you could rank there as well because it looks like a very low competition search. Here's how I found it. You go to Semrush, you put Amazon.com into the organic research report, and then you run some filters. In my case, I ran a filter for Fujifilm. It's the brand of camera that I like and use. And then I said, well, where's Amazon ranking position 5 or below? Let's do a lower keyword difficulty. Let's look at a little lower volume, and then let's contains the keyword review in there. And by doing this, you can see even at the very top here, this has surfaced a couple dozen or several keywords of review searches. And the reason why this works is oftentimes Amazon's just ranking sort of accidentally because they're not really, they might have reviews on the page itself, but it's not a piece of content reviewing it. It's not a tech reviewer reviewing this lens or whatever it is. And so that's often a sign that coupled with the lower keyword difficulty, that's where the ranking potential comes from. So I want to encourage everyone out there listening to not only try to grow your personal brand, but here's a little hack you can use in Semrush as well to surface some keywords to write review content for any products. So I know we went a few minutes over there. I apologize for that. We kind of flew through everything. I hope that was helpful. Here's my contact info. I'll leave that up while we take some questions.
Okay, thank you, Dan, for the wonderful presentation. That was very informative. I really liked some tips, and I think we will be using some of them in our own business. Awesome. Now, this is the good time, by the way, for everyone in chat to ask any questions you have about what Dan talked about right now. We do have already some questions coming in through other channels, so I can begin with that, and then YouTube chat can join in. So the first question is, how can you confirm that you have successfully created a personal brand? What's the point of like, yes, it's done, it's there?
Yeah, and I had a feeling this question might come up, so I didn't really answer it in the presentation, which is good. My measure of success is engagement. So it's not follower count, it's not retweets, it's not any of those sort of vanity metrics. It's when you post something on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on YouTube, do people engage with you and reply to it? And do they seem interested in what you have to say? That to me is the measure of success, because you can get like, you know, they have that stat, like more people will actually share content than actually read it. You know what I mean? People aren't engaged. They just reshare stuff because it looks good for them. So the engagement to me is the ultimate thing, right? So, and you're never done, by the way. I mean, there's never like a true moment of like, okay, I'm a personal brand now. You know what I mean? It's one person at a time, one audience member at a time that you grow day after day after day. And it's this thing that never really ends. But to me, I'm always looking for the engagement. And if I'm doing something on a channel that's not getting engagement, that to me is when it's a failure and not working and when I need to readjust.
Okay, and I think there is another question which feeds into this one. So here we have discussed how do you know when the personal brand has been more or less created, so you have engagement, you have interest in what you have to say. How how do we then control the brand? What, in your opinion, are the key metrics for it? So how do you know that my brand is underperforming right now, or it needs some help? How do you monitor, basically speaking, and how do you maybe assign some KPIs for your personal brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's tough because you can look at things like follower growth, um, web traffic, if you have a blog, for example. But to me, I mean, one KPI I would meant two actually I would bring up is web mentions. So if you go to a tool like, I think Semrush might have them, but also BuzzSumo or Moz or some alert tool, I would track mentions of your name or your brand name. So I track mentions of my name as well as my podcast, Experts on the Wire. And to me, the more people are mentioning your brand name or your name on their own, that's a great sign of growth, because that's what you want. That's what a personal brand is. That's what a brand is people talking about you when you're not there. And that'd be number one. Number two is actually search volume in Google. If you are really, like, if you go to the AdWords keyword tool and type in like Gary Vaynerchuk or something right now, somebody with a huge personal brand, he's got 6 figures of searches a month for his name. I, on the other hand, maybe have a few hundred. So, I mean, that's a great measure of your brand as well. Is how many people are going to Google and searching you. That to me is a way better KPI than followers or stuff like that, because those can be gamed and aren't they're vanity. They're not super important.
I see. Actually, we do have a tool about what you mentioned for personal brand monitoring, which is named Brand Monitoring Tool. And
cool.
it does exactly that. So you can set up a term, for example, for yourself. It would be then Shure. And then we will look and find all the mentions of your tool. So you can then monitor them and see the positive, the negative mentions, and perhaps replies to once again engage the audience and perhaps increase your brand power even more. Mm-hmm. And we do. We actually had another question. What about backlinks? Is backlinks a good measure of a personal brand, and how do you perhaps divide backlinks to your site? Are they affected by your own brand, or perhaps something that your colleagues did?
I think backlinks are a great measure of brand, actually. I mean, they're similar to a mention. Sometimes a mention is people mentioning you without giving you a link. I mean, obviously, as an aside, that's a way to get some extra links if you're doing SEO. But I think backlinks are great. I mean, this is one reason I don't do a lot of link building, is because I like the organic growth and sign that you're building a personal brand or a brand by people linking to you on their own. And so, yeah, I mean, whoever asked that question, I think it's a great question, very insightful. You can, again, use any SEO tool to measure the growth of your backlinks. What I would do there is look at the anchor text they're using, the context of that link, and then where they're linking to. Because a link reviewing my podcast is great. I mean, that's a very, very strong brand signal. But sort of a random link just to my homepage that is sort of is loosely related to me, is and kind of out of context, is not as good for branding. So yeah, I think backlinks are a great way to measure brand.
Cool. Thank you very much for clarifying. We do have, of course, tools to monitor backlinks, and a lot of other competing toolkits are offering that too. So I think either way, if you're doing SEO, it's great. It's great to monitor your backlinks to know when you're growing in popularity, whatever it is. It's most likely a good sign for you. We do have more questions coming in. So a lot of people are skeptical about influencers and personal brands. So what, in your opinion, are the limits, or maybe even the downsides of a personal brand? What it can not really help you with?
Yeah, I'll answer that slightly differently. To me, I meant to say in the presentation that I never tried to grow a personal brand per se. I think a personal brand, I think the con of it is when that's your goal, right? Is trying to grow a personal brand. If that's the goal, without any other things surrounding that, then that's where you can go wrong, right? So like if all you're trying to do is get popular without any sort of foundation, that's where you can go wrong. So what I mean by foundation is, for me, you know, I'm a consultant. I've become, grown an audience for people that trust me as being somebody that knows something, a thing or two about SEO. And so you want to think about like, what's your value add? You know, are you an expert? Are you an entertainer? Are you a mix of both? Are you inspirational, right? You need to have something that results in the personal brand. So the personal brand is a result of kind of doing something else, in my opinion. So I think that's where people go wrong. And that's where the negatives come from is, you know, they just try to go grow a personal brand for the sake of it, rather than, in a way, letting that happen in some ways as a byproduct for something else they're already doing. And so all the tips and hacks I mentioned, they all kind of come with this assumption that, you know, you're adding some kind of value in some way. Like I said, educating, teaching, inspiring, entertaining, etc. So that's where I think it can go wrong, because if you have something else, like if my personal brand goes away tomorrow, I still have all my clients, you know, I still have my podcast. So that's where I think you need to be careful, is not just having a personal brand for the sake of it, because that's a pretty, you know, thin proposition.
Okay, well, that really makes sense, that you need something to back your personal brand, some like real, actual content, for example, your podcasts or your SEO consultancy. We do have another question in regards to actually what you presented, and then there are some questions for myself, actually. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what to start with? So somebody wants to build a personal brand, somebody wants to let themselves be known. What's the best point to start in terms of like getting value quickly?
Yeah, I think you should consider having a website, even just a simple one. Maybe have an email list, and then from there, I would go to the platform that overlaps with your audience the most, that also is showing a little bit easier traction, right? So what do you mean by that is, I've been seeing lately that, you know, Instagram for me is getting a little bit harder to get traction in there. So that's a platform I might not pay attention to. Whereas, like I said, LinkedIn is really, really powerful right now, as is Twitter if you use it correctly, or YouTube. So I would find the platform that has the people that you want to connect with. And by the way, that doesn't have to be like social media. That can be Reddit. It can be Quora. It can be SlideShare. It can be, you know, all these sort of community-oriented sites, Facebook groups, Slack channels. So find the ones where your people are that you want to get in front of, and choose one and try to do really, really well on that first, right? Before you try to spread yourself too thin. You know, you might set up your profiles in the others and have it so people can like follow you if they want to there. But I would put a lot of effort into one, and then work your way up from there.
Thank you very much. I think it's a really good point to start, really. So we do not have any more questions coming in, I believe. There is a last chance for you to ask questions in chat, by the way. There is one question that Semrush website is offering a free 1-month pro trial. Actually, I don't believe we do. I'm sorry. Maybe we are referring to different things, but
you can use my affiliate link for 15 days.
Indeed. That's an option. And actually, depending on how you're studying Semrush and what you exactly want to do with it, 15 days might be more than enough for you to decide that this is the tool for you, and to basically decide to switch to a paid account. So just so you know.
Here's my pro tip with that, by the way, just for people. I would recommend sign up for the free account, like just create an account first, get a little used to, get oriented to the UI and stuff, then start your trial. Like if they can do that, right, they can create an account and then use a link and start a trial, because that way at least you have got maybe a day or two ahead of just getting oriented to the UI, then do a free trial, then really dig in. You know what I'm saying? Do you agree?
Yeah. Good point. Because you really need to get to grips with the interface, which might be confusing at first, yeah. But once you get to understand how everything is structured, you get to really orient yourself in the tool, and that really helps you to be efficient with it, because Semrush is very flexible. It can do a lot of different things. You just need to know where to take data, where to feed data, where to transform data, etc. Actually, about the question for the screenshot, no, by all means, I do believe you. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding what you're referring to exactly. This is to the 1 month trial. Anyway, a lot of our affiliates and a lot of our fans are offering trial offers. So you just have to basically find out the one that you like. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, the longest one. It's the one which offers maybe the best value with the affiliate who talks about Semrush along with it. So, but I'm not doubting what you have to say about the 1 month, by no means. What is the best way? Actually, this is the question for you, Dan. What is the best way to utilize LinkedIn for affiliate marketing? Since it's more of a B2B platform, are you posting content with affiliate links in the content?
Yeah, so that's where saying you can use LinkedIn to grow an audience and then push them to your email list. I think that's a perfectly, acceptable sort of funnel for a lot of people in there. To the point about B2B and B2C, I'm actually seeing more B2C stuff in LinkedIn as more people are trickling in there, and it's just natural, right? Like more people are using it, and they're naturally going to start talking about some things that are a little more B2C oriented. I see people talking about travel or food or even products and things like that. So I wouldn't rule it out and just think of it as only B2B. It's people, right? There's people in there, and you might want to spin what you're doing to a little more B2B. So for example, I have a client that deals with hearing aids, and they figured out a way to talk about hearing aids, like how it might relate to, like, let's say you're on an airplane and you have trouble hearing. Well, the hearing aids can help you with your business trip when you're on the plane or in a business meeting, blah, 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 right? So you can take a consumer product and put a little B2B spin on it, or even just talk about your B2C stuff once in a while. So I would definitely consider not rule out LinkedIn for B2C. And then, I think pushing people to other places from LinkedIn is the way to go there. Because like you said, it's really tough to just drop an affiliate link right in a LinkedIn post. I don't think people are going to like that. But push them to your email list, get them over to Twitter, get them onto your website. I mean, I think sending people to your website is a really, really great way to go with LinkedIn. And then from your website, of course, you can do whatever you want there. So I would do that.
Thank you. I have been monitoring a lot of influencers in LinkedIn, and I do definitely notice how they do work around their personal brands. They try to establish their presence there, and then they refer to what they are actually doing in their main business. They don't always talk about what they do, what they work on, but they do eventually work towards that. So I think it's a good strategy. You can be subtle about this, and you should be probably, because being direct doesn't endorse trust. What do you think, by the way, about trust and should you be direct about you being an affiliate, or do you think it's something, well, you cannot really legally hide it, but is it something that you want to stress, or something you want to just embrace, accept, and then work from there?
I always tell people, I mean, when I'm sending them an affiliate link, and I always say, this is an affiliate link. If you don't want to use it for some reason, just go to the website, just type in the web. You know what I mean? Like, I think people, when you are transparent, it actually, you might think people are going to take it the wrong way, like, oh, he's trying to push an affiliate link on me or something. But I find most people are very receptive when you're just transparent with them. So I pretty much say it all the time when I use an affiliate link.
Thank you. I think clarity is very important. People really trust people who are on it, and everybody understands that you want to make money as well. Everybody does. That's just the fact of it. So I don't think it's something that should be
I might say something like, oh, you'll help kick me a few bucks. You know what I mean? Like I also preface it and say that, like, this one affiliate link's not going to, like, all of a sudden make me thousands of dollars. Like, so I sort of say, like, you'll get me a cup of coffee or whatever. Like, and it might be a little more than that, like $20, $50 or whatever, but it's just letting people know that, it's not a ton of money. And so that also helps make you come across as, not just being like all about the money or the sale, when you kind of set the context of it.
True. And I can imagine that a lot of people also watch your content or content by other creators and think that, well, I can buy a product which is valuable for me, and I can also support this creator who is creating awesome content. I think that's a great deal, they think, and they will not mind. They will be happy that you are an affiliate so that they can support you in this indirect way. So yeah, I think it's a really good point that trust is very important, and being transparent and honest is not, it's not a hindrance from trust. Well, honestly, I do think that we don't have any more questions coming in. So if you have anything else to add, Dan, it's a great time.
Yeah, there's one thing I realized I didn't put in my presentation. So since you asked and I forgot to include this, let me share one thing here. This is a tip for Twitter that is actually, I think, one of the best tips from the whole presentation. It just didn't make it into my slides. Let me pull it up here. But this is another way you can actually directly sell right in Twitter. And I'm still shocked at how few people do this. Let me find the screenshots that I had here. Presentations. Webinar. Okay, so you all know that you can go to Twitter search, and this is something Gary Vaynerchuk talks about a lot. But
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's being shown on your screen right now. Oh yeah, it's on. It's on.
Okay, let me turn that on again. So there's two slides. This is one of two that I meant to put in the presentation. So take your topic and go to Twitter search, and mine's very simple. This is one I do when I have the chance. The word podcasting and question mark. This is going to return tweets where people have the word podcasting and there's a question mark. So there's a lot of junk in there, but if you're patient and you scan through, there's people asking questions around this topic. I also do this for SEO tools, question mark, rank checkers, question mark, anything that I can add value and answer, and even better yet, use an affiliate link. And so I did this just today. Like, this wasn't something that I'm not pulling out a random, outlying example here. I found this in like 5 seconds after looking today. Here's this guy here asking a question. He wants to start a podcast. He wants to know about mics, etc. And then I actually did answer him. This is what I answered. I said, hi, any pop filter will do. I linked to it, my affiliate link. I just look like I'm lying because I actually didn't disclose that it was affiliate link there. I was doing this very quickly, getting ready for the presentation. So normally I would put that, but this is an opportunity to link to number one. I mean, it's not about the affiliate link number one here. It's I'm being helpful, and then maybe he'll follow me. Maybe it'll help grow my audience. And, if not, you're just doing a good thing, and things are always going to come from that. But the bonus here is I can use an Amazon affiliate link, and sure, pop filter's $10, but as I'm sure you all know, once he's in through my affiliate link, anything he purchases goes credited to my affiliate account. And if he had asked about a microphone or asked about something more expensive, that affiliate link can translate into a lot more. So again, this is one example I found in literally 5 seconds this morning. So use Twitter search. It's a great way to answer people's questions, especially if you're in a tech space, and they're asking about microphones or cameras or these higher priced electronic items, but it can play well to any product. So that's the last thing I want to add. I'm kicking myself that I forgot to put that in the slides, but I think it's helpful.
That's honestly a very good advice. That's ingenious.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dan, and thank you very much, everybody, for coming in today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any more questions, perhaps we have a couple of seconds more. Otherwise, the presentation itself is included in the comments below. You can also find the links to our affiliate program called BRush, and you can find the links to all the sites of Dan as well. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope that this was helpful for you. Sure know it was for me. And until next time, be sure to check out other webinars from this series, and upcoming webinars will arrive in November and December as well. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Goodbye.